We did a lot of research into the conventions and that, and one of the main ways we did this is by watching short films, and we watched loads of them. And by the end of this, we had a good list of conventions you'd expect to see in a short film, and we tried to include as many as possible of these. One of the main ones is that short films generally have 2 to 3 main characters. The reason for this is because you don't have a lot of time to build a relationship with the characters, so you keep them minimal. We definitely conform to this convention. This is because the success of our short film largely depended on the audience building a relationship with me, our central protagonist. So we kept characters to a minimal. Though we had some extras, they weren't featured very much. Another convention that you'd expect to see is a plot twist. The twist generally is something that shocks or surprises the audience, that something they don't expect. We again definitely conform to this. Near the end, the audience discovers that the reason Mia is not being acknowledged is because she's actually in an afterlife. One more convention that you'd expect to see is that short films are more often not situational. This is because if the audience can relate to the film, it's likely to be much more powerful. Again, we conform to this as we wanted the audience to be able to put themselves in Mia's position, and also the mother's position as well, so in order for it to be quite powerful. Finally, another convention, one we didn't actually use, is a voiceover. Voiceover can be useful because it provides subtext and you can lay out the narrative quite quickly and efficiently, although sometimes it can be considered lazy. We didn't use this because we didn't want the audience to know too much too soon. We wanted it to be quite suddenly revealed at the end. The use of this is that it's made much more powerful at the end, and also that it keeps them guessing throughout the film.
To make the combination of film and ancillary products as effective as possible, we had to make the themes similar. For example, with the poster, we used the same font that we had for the title of the film. Also, the photos we used for both the review and the poster were similar in the sense of the theme. Like, we used dark image to create the atmosphere. Also, for the review, we used like an unbiased opinion, which both criticised and highlighted the good points of the film. We thought that the audience would receive this as a more balanced argument, and they might trust it more. And if it was treated as a real commercial product, the review would usually be seen either during the time that the film is out or before the film actually comes out. So this gives an overall impression, so it could be the basis of whether or not people would actually want to go and see the film. That's like the poster as well, as the poster is one of the most common advertising strategies. People would use that as a basis as well, because there's a specific type of audience that would use film magazines as a source of information. Majority of people would use posters as opposed to film magazines. So, to make the poster as fitting with our film as possible, we used an image of a dark scene with the main character looking away from the camera. This was to chill the audience and want them to find out more. The caption was, "Have you ever felt invisible?" which also sort of not gives it away, but they won't know that they're actually physically invisible. They might just think, oh, what what sort of invisibility are they actually talking about, because it could also link with several other themes. So overall, it's pretty ambiguous.
At the different production stages, we use different media technologies to help conduct our research. One of the biggest technologies we use was the internet. For example, we use YouTube to look at previous short films made by students. By doing this, we could pick out successful techniques used by them, what works, and then also what doesn't work, so we knew what to avoid. And then other than YouTube, we use sites such as shortoftheweek.com, which is user submitted videos which effectively have to be chosen to be put on the website. So all these videos were to quite a high standard, they were quite successful. So again, we can pick out different techniques which would be beneficial for us to use for our own video. Then in planning, we had to decide which cameras to use. So we had a test shoot with different cameras. For example, we used the Panasonic TM900, and we used the Canon XM1 and a few others. We ended up deciding on the Canon because it was quite an older camera, but it was a more professional camera. It had quite a big mic on the top, you had manual focus, you could zoom in, it's quite a good range. And also the LCD screen had a good tilt and stuff, so if you were filming at an awkward angle, you could tilt it to what you needed, and not all the cameras could have done that. When planning stuff like the poster, we used the webcam feature on the Mac actually. By doing this, we could take photos and then edit them on software such as Photoshop. So we could experiment with different ideas. For instance, we experimented with the idea of missing body parts on Mia. We had one where she was missing a head. I mean, this was just experimenting, but we ended up deciding that we weren't going to use that, but the fact that we had these technologies, we could experiment with different ideas. Then, for instance, conducting research into magazine review, we could again use the internet to search up different reviews that have been made, and we also used print. By using print, we looked at actual magazine reviews, and we could see actually how they're set out on a professional review, and this is beneficial because we could see different things that were included, pick out the conventions, and also we actually measured the actual review, so ours would be also fit size.
Throughout the process, we tried to obtain as much feedback as possible to help make the product as successful as we could. After completing the first draft, we posted a link to Facebook, which had our target audience, young adults, so we used it to see how well they would receive the film. Some people filled out the questionnaire with generic questions like, what did you think was good, what did you think was bad, but that sort of thing. And from that we focused on what they identified as the main weak spot, which was the sound. So with that we we detached the audio, we expanded the clips, we created bridges so there weren't any jumps and stuff. Also we lowered and raised the volumes, etc. Also they commented on the amount of walking that I did, so we cut that down to maximum 2-3 seconds because it actually had no value to the storyline and it was just wasting time. So then we just focused on the rest of the film in general, just cutting out little clips that we felt held no value, etc. Also, when we finished that, once we felt satisfied, we did another questionnaire on the ancillary product. We asked questions such as, do you feel the poster review and film generate a similar feel and theme, and do they link? Also, do the poster and review seem authentic to you, and why?